Match day 7 of the Premier League couldn't have ended in a more perfect way for Arsenal fans. The Gunners defeated West Ham United with a commanding 2-0 victory, reclaiming the top spot in the Premier League from Liverpool. But this win was far more than just 3 points. It was a powerful statement, a declaration that Arsenal are no longer just contenders. They're starting to look every bit like champions in the making. And to make it sweeter, they did it against the very opponent that had haunted them over the past 2 seasons. Tactically, Mikel Arteta's men delivered a performance of complete control, assertive, composed, and confident, a world apart from the frustrated, hesitant Arsenal we had grown used to seeing whenever they faced the Hammers at the Emirates in recent years. Let's not forget, during the 2023-24 and 2024-25 campaigns, West Ham were a real thorn in Arsenal's side. Those painful defeats didn't just derail title races, they created the sense of a West Ham curse hanging over the Emirates. But this time, from the very first whistle, Arsenal made it clear they were done living in the past. Arteta set up a bold, attack-minded midfield trio of Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, and Eberechi Eze, a clear message of intent. That proactive approach changed everything. Arsenal didn't wait for chances, they created them. They pressed high, dominated possession, stretched West Ham's shape, and constantly tested Areola's goal. Eze had the first big chance, breaking through one-on-one but missing narrowly. Yet the Englishman didn't take long to make amends. Just before halftime, after a clever passing move, Eze's shot forced a save from Areola, and Declan Rice, of all people, was there to pounce on the rebound. A poetic moment, the former West Ham captain striking against his old club to break the deadlock for Arsenal. Even with the lead, the night wasn't without a scare. Arsenal's captain, Martin Odegaard, once again went down with a knee problem and had to be substituted before halftime. It was the 3rd straight Premier League game in which Odegaard was forced off inside the first 45 minutes, a worrying trend no fan wants to see. Odegaard's absence should have been a major headache for Mikel Arteta, but surprisingly, instead of turning to wonder kid Ethan Nwaneri, as he did in previous games, Arteta brought on Spanish midfielder Martin Zubimendi. And that decision proved decisive, coming just moments before Declan Rice's opener. From a tactical perspective, Zubimendi's introduction completely changed the rhythm of Arsenal's play. The Gunners shifted from their fluid 4-3-3 setup to a more traditional 4-2-3-1, with Zubimendi and Rice anchoring midfield, while Eberechi Eze pushed higher up the pitch to take on creative duties. That structure offered both control and balance, the defensive solidity Arsenal needed without sacrificing attacking flair. As the game began to slow down, Zubimendi quietly took charge of the tempo. Stats revealed he completed 11 progressive passes, the most of any player on the pitch, despite playing only 60 minutes. He also matched Eze, Lucas Paquetá, and Odegaard with 4 passes into the final third, showing exactly why he's valued as a deep-lying orchestrator. It was a subtle yet powerful reminder that Arsenal might already have a ready-made solution should Odegaard's knee issue linger. The second goal was another sign of Arsenal's growing maturity. When West Ham pushed forward searching for an equalizer, the Gunners stayed composed, calmly building from the back and pulling their opponents out of shape. A swift counter-attack saw the ball reach Jurrien Timber, whose clever run drew a foul inside the box. From the penalty spot, Bukayo Saka stepped up with trademark composure and buried his shot into the corner. It was his 50th Premier League goal, a milestone that perfectly captured his rise as one of England's brightest stars. From that moment on, Arsenal never lost control. They didn't need to overcommit or press frantically. Instead, they dictated every phase, suffocating West Ham's hopes without breaking a sweat. It wasn't just a 2-0 win. It was the performance of a team that finally knows how to manage a game, how to strike when needed, and how to protect a lead with authority, the hallmark of a true title contender. And as news broke that Liverpool had stumbled late at Stamford Bridge, Arsenal's victory felt even sweeter. For the first time this season, Mikel Arteta's men climbed back to the top of the Premier League table. Looking deeper, there's also something fascinating about Arteta's tactical rotation lately. He's been experimenting boldly with his midfield options, from deploying Odegaard in a deeper role against Newcastle to starting Zubimendi at St. James's Park. Against West Ham, he flipped the script again, starting with a creative trio of Odegaard, Rice, and Eze, before transitioning into a more balanced system with Zubimendi on. Both versions worked, and that might just be Arsenal's greatest weapon heading into the toughest stretch of the season. As the Gunners prepare to battle on multiple fronts, Arteta now knows he has more than one blueprint for success. He's got options, and that's exactly what a team with European ambitions needs. On an individual level, this night also belonged to Bukayo Saka, the heartbeat of Arsenal's attack and the symbol of their rise. He marked his 200th Premier League appearance with a flawless performance, one that perfectly reflected his growing stature as a star destined for greatness. That calm, confident penalty didn't just seal the win, it also took him to an extraordinary milestone: 100 goal contributions in the Premier League, 55 goals and 45 assists. Since making his debut back in January 2019, Saka has averaged a goal or assist every other game, a level of consistency rarely seen in English football. At just 24 years old, he's now the 8th player in Arsenal's history to reach 100 goal involvements in the Premier League, and only the 3rd Englishman to do so for the club, following in the footsteps of Ian Wright, 123, and Theo Walcott, 108. Fittingly, like Thierry Henry, he also scored on his 200th league appearance in the red and white of Arsenal, a poetic echo of legends past. But beyond the numbers, what stood out most was his mindset. Despite Victor Gyökeres still being on the pitch, a striker who hasn't scored in 6 straight games, Saka showed no hesitation in stepping up to take the penalty himself. It wasn't arrogance, it was leadership, a quiet statement that in the defining moments, he would carry the weight. While Gyökeres continues to search for form, Saka's reliability has become Arsenal's anchor, the guarantee that even when others falter, their number 7 will deliver. And if Saka embodied Arsenal's brilliance up front, Riccardo Calafiori mirrored that composure and creativity at the back. The Italian left-back once again showed why he's quickly become Arteta's first choice on the left flank. Calafiori brings a rare elegance, a mix of aggression and artistry that makes him unpredictable. Though listed as a full-back, he often drifts inside like an auxiliary playmaker when Arsenal have possession. In the final third, he's everywhere, pushing high like a wing-back, tucking into midfield like a number 8, or even switching flanks to overload the right side. Late in the first half, he nearly crowned his display with a goal, a curling right foot strike from the edge of the box that cannoned off the post. Last season, it was Miles Lewis-Kelly who caught everyone's eye. But this year, Calafiori has made the position his own, starting every Premier League game so far. His flexibility gives Arsenal a tactical edge, allowing them to morph fluidly between systems without losing control. For Mikel Arteta, this victory carried an extra layer of meaning. It was his 300th game in charge of Arsenal, and he celebrated it with his 177th win, a remarkable milestone that underlines his impact at the club. In the entire history of the Premier League, only Pep Guardiola, 219, Jose Mourinho, 196, and Kenny Dalglish, 185, have managed more wins in their first 300 games with an English club. That's the kind of company Arteta now keeps, a true testament to how far both he and Arsenal have come. After 7 rounds, Arsenal's record speaks volumes, consistent, confident, and commanding. But the question now lingers. Can they hold on to the top spot after the international break? The gap to Liverpool is just 1 point. Yet, Arne Slot's side suddenly look vulnerable after back-to-back defeats. And with Manchester United up next, Liverpool's immediate future doesn't look straightforward either. Arsenal, by contrast, seem to be finding their rhythm. Gyökeres might not have exploded yet, but Saka has rediscovered his spark at the perfect time. Eze is steadily becoming a vital creative force, and even without Odegaard, the midfield engine powered by Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi continues to hum smoothly. Proof that this squad has depth, structure, and adaptability. After the break, challenges await. Fulham in the Premier League, and Atletico Madrid in Europe. These aren't easy fixtures, but they're the kind of tests a true title contender must embrace. Because championships aren't won in the big emotional clashes. They're earned in the steady weeks in between, in the discipline to stay focused, in the patience to wait for your rivals to slip, and in the consistency to never lose sight of the goal. And right now, Arsenal are showing exactly that. A team that's not just dreaming of glory, but quietly, confidently, learning how to live like champions.